Hello, welcome to the end of week 1. And it's a little bit different. We're going to go through an evening flow or a slow flow instead of evening if you're choosing to practice in the morning, because that's part of your routine. And we're going to have a little bit of a shake up from the regular vinyasa we've been doing. We've built up, learnt about vinyasa in week 1. And tonight we're just going to have, or today we're going to have that evening practice taking us into these remaining weeks. Just with a deeper and a slower stretch tonight, kind of towards a yin class, but we're going to move through it with a flow sequence. I want you to focus on your breath the whole way through the class. Just keep the breath as your focus. I will talk throughout the class, talking about what we're doing and different things that come to mind through each pose. But focus on your inhale and your exhale through the nose. It's going to be a slower class. It's going to test the mind more than the body to remain clear and focused on what we are doing, which is breath and pose and no more. Enjoy this class. I hope it stretches you out. In the comments down below, there is a link to a playlist for an evening class or an evening flow. You can put it in the background, maybe have some music, because there is some longer holds where you might want to have that playing, or just put on some relaxing music now, some classical music or something a little slower, that you can just have as a nice kind of background music to what we're doing. And I hope you enjoy the class. It's a little bit different, but a nice test for someone that's going through this Yoganuary challenge. So we're going to start at the top of our mat. We're going to be in a forward fold, but I'll see you on the mat and hopefully you enjoy this class. So we're starting standing at the top of the mat. This is our Sunday night, kind of yin-like evening slow flow. So we're going to just start by forward fold over our legs, and we're going to find ourselves just hanging out. Nothing to do. I'm going to make a hammock with our arms. We're going to take the right hand to the left elbow and the left hand to the right elbow. Just shake the head yes and no. It's your first week of yoga now. This is a Sunday. Maybe some dry Januaries, not worried about a Sunday. But after a week of yoga, we're just going to take this evening slow class. Could be done in the morning, but just more of a yin-like slow wake up and stretch potentially, but this slower stretch, these deeper folds, a little bit longer. Just hanging out here in this forward fold. The more time we wait, the more the legs start to open, the back opens, the neck relaxes, all that tension we're holding there. Keeping here and inhaling through the nose and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to go from here, keeping in the forward fold. We're going to find that humble forward fold, so taking the hands to an interlace at the lower back, and when it's available, if it's available, you're going to open them away from the lower back. Keeping a soft bend in the arms, not trying to open and extend everything, we just want to gradually open into the shoulders. The neck still heavy, shoulders drawing together, opening the back, breathing in through the nose, and breathing back out. So a little bit different than the other classes we've been teaching. You've had your introduction to vinyasa, and you're building up towards the next 3 weeks, which you're going to progressively build up through intermediate and moderate style classes. We're giving ourselves that little evening break, taking a slower, deeper stretch, breathing in and breathing out. You're going to bring those hands to the lower back, slide them down in front, just a minute in that pose, and then as we inhale, we're going to roll up to stand all the way up, take the chin tucked up until the last second. We find ourselves stood up. We're going to take the hands up, inhale up, and we're going to take a clasp of the left wrist with the right hand. Breathe in and reach up, and exhale, take the side stretch over to the right, making this big C shape with the body, letting the hips push to the left, arms to the right. Inhale, hold here as we exhale. Inhale, come back up. We're going to switch the wrists, grabbing the left wrist over the right hand, and we're going to reach out over to the left, stretching through the side body. Hips push to the right, right arm reaches further to the left. Breathe in and breathe out. This time, inhale, back up. Bring the hands to the heart, exhaling. We're going to heel toe the feet out a little wider. I'm going to sit down into our Malasana. So our yogi squat. Sitting all the way down, hips low, hands at the heart, inside those legs, pushing the legs out, sitting up tall, bringing the hands towards the chest. So there's no perfect position in yoga. Everyone's going to look a little bit different. Some people might just be resting up here with their elbows on their knees to give them some support, and gradually going to work down. If you'd like to take the feet out a little wider, it's going to create more space for you. Some people might have the heels lifted. We want to try and get them flat and come up a little higher to do so. But you can take a little block or a bolster or a rolled towel and put that under your heels to give you that support and feel grounded in this pose. Finding our Malasana, this stretch deep into both hips and hip flexors. Inhale here. And exhale, we stay. I remember the first yoga teacher I had gave this as homework, as a joke throughout the class. They used to say, you should be able to, with a very low ironing board, do some ironing here or watch TV and support yourself here. You go around the world, you see lots of people sat like this. And probably in our Western culture, we've all lost this and all have back problems since, but great for posture and for the spine. Inhaling to stay here in Malasana, just a little bit longer, this slower class. We're going to take a little bit extra time in each pose. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to come onto our back, onto our butt. We're going to roll down onto our back, bringing the knees in, not into the chest, but just in at our hips, in line with our hips. Arms out wide, we're going to take a twist over to the left. Left hand on top of those right knees, and the right arm goes out to the right. So we're taking this kind of knees together twist. Inhale here, and then exhale just to twist out the body. Letting the gaze come over to that right hand. Inhale and exhale. Slowing ourselves down. Hopefully you are doing this in the evening and you're just going to get into bed and drift off for the night after, stretching the body out, winding down for the day. Hopefully don't look at your phone after and just go straight to bed, but who knows. I'm going to come up out of this twist, back up, knees up, together, and then they're going to go over to that right hand side, the opposite side they were. Right hand on those knees together, and then we look over to our left hand as we look out wide. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Come up out of this twist, and this time we do give ourselves that big hug in. Knees in, big hug. Little circles with the lower back if we'd like. And we take quite a deep forward fold here of plough, and it might not be for everyone, but we're going to try and see where we get to. And we're going to rock up and down, bringing our hands to the floor. And plough involves taking the feet up and over the head so our toes touch on the floor behind us on the back. We're going to keep the vision or the gaze straight up into the legs, not tilting the neck either way. Arms down by our side for support. So a very deep forward fold. If you think about it, if you're sat on the ground, you can see that forward fold. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, we're just going to roll the spine slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, back out of this forward fold of plough. Bringing the back flat and planting the feet on the ground, hip width apart. Those hands that were down by our side can just tickle the heels for support to find our base for bridge. Knees driving to the ceiling, they don't fall out or come in. Arms push into the floor and we lift our hips up for bridge. Driving the hips up through the heels at first and our glutes active to push the hips up to the ceiling. Arms push into the floor. Chin away from the chest, we look to the ceiling. Inhale here in bridge. And exhale to stay. Inhale, lift up on those heels or up on the toes, heels lift. And again from the neck, we spine roll down vertebrae by vertebrae until the tailbone touches the back of the mat. Giving ourselves that big hug. We're just going to rock up and down the mat. All the way up and down the mat. Keep coming up and down, and then we're just going to roll over into a tabletop position. So hopefully a bit smoother than my transition. And we find ourselves in tabletop. And we're going to thread the needle. I'm going to start with our right arm. We're going to inhale, open. And exhale, we're going to thread the needle under the left arm, landing on our right shoulder. I'm going to push our left arm into the floor to twist and open. And if it's available, you can take that left hand out over the head, up towards the top of the mat. Inhaling here, keeping the hips where they are on top of the knees, not dropping one side or the other. Opening the shoulder or keeping the hand pushed in front of the face. I'm going to take just a minute to 90 seconds here, already well into that. Taking the time to open up. Inhaling. And exhaling. Arm out over the top of the head. Walking to the top of the mat. Opening up through the thoracic spine. Lovely stretch for the neck and shoulders. When we're ready, we're going to bring that hand back down in front of the face. I'm going to push to open up, all the way back up, and then exhale back down. This time we're going to sit back onto our heels. We're going to find this reclined hero's pose and stretch out through the quads. So from here we go all the way back, and we want to feel the stretch through our quads, letting the butt just sink through below the hips. We're going to find our way down onto our forearms. Maybe you have to stay up on your hands. This might be all you can do for now. We're working on stretching through each quad. If it's available, you can come down into your forearms, or you can go all the way down and rest your head on the floor. Whichever way we get there, we're just going to stay here with the breath in, and whichever variation we find. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. A few more, whichever variation we've got to, breathing in and breathing out. In and out. We'll come back up, all the way back up, finding that tabletop position. We're going to lift up, our hips tucking the toes, finding a downward dog. So taking this time in downward dog, pushing the heels down, really feeling that. Walking through the feet, side to side. And we're going to lift up on our toes, and we're going to drop our heels to the right. So all the way over to the right, pushing them down, and we're going to feel that stretch through the left hand side body. And we really want to feel that left hip turn back, pulling away, getting the stretch into the oblique, or the left-hand side of our belly. All the way up to our left armpit, pushing the ground away with our hands. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift back up, lift the heels. Exhale, heels draw down. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot outside the right hand. I'm going to lower the knee down and we find our lizard pose. I'm going to start with our arms just as they are, hands on the floor. If it's available, some people I know will be able to go straight to forearms on the mat. I'm going to keep the knee down. We're just going to have about a minute here. So just keep the breath as a focus. Inhaling through our nose and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. And we normally just teach vinyasa, especially through Yoganuary, and this really is just a bunch of asanas, which are poses, the word for pose, asana in Sanskrit, put together just with a little slower transition time, a little holding of a pose. In most of a yin practices, poses like this being held for 2-3 minutes ago, say. But on our retreats, we've got our yoga retreats this year, one in the lakes, a couple in Spain. We do teach evening classes of yin, which is very nice before bed, kind of candlelit or fireside, 45-minute, 60-minute yoga. We use eye pillows, bolsters, straps, and do the full switch off, deep stretch. But taking this time here just to hold these poses is really great for the body. Different to the warmth brought on from the vinyasa. And normally we just spend a little bit of time at the end of class and start of class. Big breath in. And as we exhale, we're just going to step back to our child's pose. All the way down, forehead to the mat. Hips down. And that great hip opener that is child's pose. For a lot of people, a resting pose, but can still be one of the best hip openers. Inhaling. And exhale. Calming the body down with each breath, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Coming back up onto our hands and knees, tabletop. We'll go through that flow just on the other side. So inhale, the left arm opens. And exhale, the left arm twists out underneath the body. So threading the needle. Hips stay on top of the knees. Right arm pushes open and twists that upper back. And then when it's available, or if it's available, the right hand travels out to the top of the mat. Again, that kind of 60 to 90 seconds we talked about on the last side. Bringing the breath in through the nose. And back out. And stay with this. I know for a lot of you yogis that just want the vinyasa, it's like the people that just want a HIIT workout. But I promise you, just taking this little extra bit of time, we're going to get all these benefits. Opening the body up more, priming ourselves for the week ahead. We're progressing to week 2 of Yoganuary. Exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, bring the right hand in front of the face, push through the ground, inhale, twist and open. And exhale, left hand back down. Again, we find that little quad opener if you'd like. We're going to go back to a hero's pose at first and then reclined hero's pose. So taking the time to go back onto our quads, so stretch out the quads onto our forearms, Maybe you stay here, or maybe you can go out, letting the head come to the floor. There should be no pain through any point of the body, so if you're in any discomfort or pain, come out of this pose or come further out of it than where you are at. A little bit of tightness and a stretch that I can feel now is challenging me to stretch into this position, but there is no pain. So with a controlled breath, I can take time to open and become more comfortable here. Inhale through the nose and exhale, that controlled, easy breath. Nice. One more breath here, breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to come back up, inhaling all the way up, back up, finding our tucked toes, and we go into that downward dog. Letting the heels really draw down. Inhale, lift up on the toes, and this time exhale, let the heels both drop to the left. And we really push that right arm away to lengthen that right side body. Heels dropping to the left, opening into that right hand stretch, that right armpit. The side body pushing the feet away, pushing into the ground. Inhale here and exhale. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, find that downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts, and exhale, stepping up to your lizard outside the left hand. The right knee comes down, untucking the toes, finding our arms underneath our shoulders, left arm against left thigh, lizard pose. And again, like we said, we're just going to have a minute, 90 seconds or something like that just to open up here. So you can progress from here. You maybe want to find your arms out long and forehead coming towards the floor. Maybe you're finding your forearms on the mat or a couple of blocks for support or your fingertips, but you want to find a comfortable pose with maybe a 6 or 7, maybe a 6 out of 10 in terms of resistance or stretch. We're not trying to be in 100% here. You should never be at that level, I'd say, but we're wanting to find, we're dialed back a bit, so you want to find a range of motion where you're like, okay, there's 60-70%, I'd say, of the stretch. I can go a little deeper, I can push myself past where I am, but because we've got time on our side, this evening style flow or this slower flow, if you're practicing in the morning or later again after this class is on the channel, but you can take the time to open here. Slower, more controlled, and over time as we lengthen and get into the body, we get a little bit more space and we can gradually progress forward or down. But you never want to push past too early that 60-70% mark. You don't want to be at like 95% absolutely dialed into the stretch. You want to be 60%. Okay, I'm in it, I can feel it. Take a few breaths, go a little further, and again, and build on top of that position. The breath just stays as it is, inhaling and exhaling. Find I teach yin on the yoga retreats, and one of the hardest things is the busy mind. Running around, social media, emails pinging away, whatever it is. But keeping the mind clear and just a focused breath through these classes when they're a little slower, a little less going on. And it's a challenge in itself. Breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to come back out of this stretch. We're going to step back to that child's pose again. Knees out wide, hips down, forehead to the mat. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And come back up. We're going to come into some seated stretches. Again, we're only about 20 minutes in. Not going to take much longer. But the benefits are going to be great, getting open and lengthening these hamstrings. You're going to get that all week. We're going to find a straddled seat, okay? So a nice straddled position, and we're going to find ourselves sitting up nice and tall, and we're going to turn to one of our legs, and we're going to turn to our right leg to start. When we use our hands, we're just going to find our sitting bones. We turn our torso towards that right leg. We're going to inhale here, and we're going to exhale and fold down. We're going to fold over that right leg. You can hold the foot, you can hold the shin, and I'm going to go for just a relaxed arm. I'm just going to fold. I'm going to focus on keeping that left hip on the floor. Now, from day one, we did that little class with Madeline, and she was completely folded out here, and I'm not at all folded out here. But, you know, the tighter and tenser you are, more like me, or more like maybe you, I don't know, but probably more like a lot of us than Madeline, is a way greater benefit that you're going to get. So, you know, if you get that quick, if you're quick to just open up and soften, you know, you're loosey-goosey straight into these stretches, you're not going to get the same benefit really as maybe someone that I'm finding tension here, and I'm getting a really amazing opening in my back. And you might be feeling that. So it's not about the position that someone gets into or the look of where they get to, that full range of a pose. It's about the stretch that we get into. So where you feel that through the body. So I'm in a really great place, stretching out through my back and my lower back here and into my legs. And I'm getting amazing benefits, even though I'm tight and a little bit tense as I open up into the body. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Every time we breathe in, we just lengthen a little bit. And as we exhale, we're just bowing down, getting a little bit closer to that leg. Inhale. And exhale. I'm going to lift back up, inhaling as we do. And we're going to turn ourselves a little bit further round, and we're going to come back up. We're going to turn towards that left leg this time. And we're going to find ourselves folding down, exhaling over that leg. And we're just going to do exactly what we did on the other side. So it was about a 90-second stretch. So a lot of people would take even longer through some of these poses, maybe 2.5, 3 minutes, say, through the poses. We're not going to do that. But we are going to enjoy just a little slower, longer time in each pose. So just carrying on from where we were, I mean, don't get confused about what we're doing here. You know, there's no evidence that people with longer hamstrings, say, are healthier than people without long hamstrings. There's just different ranges of flexibility. So never be put off, you know, through classes that you might go to a public class and there's someone crazy flexible and someone that's not. That's not what we're doing here. So don't get confused by that. There's no evidence to support it. The goal is not to touch our head to our legs or reach over and grab our foot. It's to find a little sensation, like I've got in my lower back here. You might have it now in this forward fold. You know, a little sensation, find an edge and just soften around it as we breathe. So breathing in through the nose, we can feel that there's that stretch, that sensation in the back. You feel around that edge, and as you exhale, you're gonna just fold a little deeper and just feel around that area, soften into the fold. Inhale, a little bit longer in this pose, and exhale. And I heard someone else say this, but if yoga was about flexibility, then people would say folks at the circus were advanced yogis. It has nothing to do with yoga. It's about strengthening the mind, and some of the benefits that come with it are flexibility, but always amuses me. Exhale. I'm going to lift back up, finding ourselves back up, seated up, stretched out both sides, one side and the other. We're going to fold forward now in this straddled fold. And you might start, if you're quite tight here, we have opened up a little bit already into the legs. It can be nice to have something under the legs, a little block or a towel under the knees, just keep them bent. You don't have to have them flat. But we're going to fold forward, and even me in class, I practice quite a bit of yoga, I can start here just to give myself a bit of support from behind, not trying to reach out and around my spine, kind of a little bit of support, hands behind us, and a gentle push forward into that pose. And again, we're going to take, just looking at my clock, we're going to take a little minute and a half just to fold out here. So we're going to fold forward when it's ready. Some people will be right out already, that full pancake. I think it's pancake pose this, I always like that. But you're folding forward. Close the eyes. Just let the mind clear. And through all of this class, you've been able to be quite meditative if you've kept a focus on the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Just notice when the mind wanders, as it does, and you bring your attention back to that breath. You breathe in and you breathe out. We're halfway there. Inhaling through the nose and exhale. And we'll come back up. And we'll come onto our backs. Bringing the legs in. I'm going to roll onto our backs. I'm going to cross our left ankle over our right knee. I'm going to draw that knee, the right leg in, interlacing behind the right thigh. And if it's available, or over time, making our way up to that right shin. And as I said, everybody's different. Some people tighter, some people looser. And we're going to work through this stretch, this reclined pigeon, this reclined figure 4 pose. The left knee now pushing towards the top of the mat, and that right leg drawing in towards us. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out. Have a little play here, just kind of side to side, forwards and backwards, and find that edge that we talked about earlier. And then once you've found it, you're going to hold there, and then you breathe in. As you exhale, you try to soften around it. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, let it go. Come back down. I'm going to switch the legs out. I'm going to cross our right ankle over our left knee. Drawing the left leg in, holding underneath the left thigh. I'm talking about everybody being different. Every side is different. My left side is way tighter than the right. I can feel that now, even with the position I can get into. It's almost like there's a little kind of restriction there that's stopping me from stretching on this side. And if it's available, you can then come up to the shin for that stretch, but don't feel like you need to. You can just hold there. Again, like we said earlier, if you're getting those benefits by being tighter, you're probably getting way more from the stretch than someone that's super loose and flexible in terms of the opening of it more than anything. Keep the mind clear, don't let it wander. Focus on the breath, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to release. We're going to let those feet come into the corners of the mat, finding that Shavasana, corpse pose. Little tuck of the shoulder blades, tuck of the chin, lengthen the head. Arms into the sides of our body, palms facing up. Close the eyes. Inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and a big sigh out. 2 more like that. Breathe in through the nose. Open the mouth and sigh out. 1 more like that. Inhale. And then that sigh out and open mouth. Let go of the breath. Relax. This evening class that we've had, hopefully going to roll off our mat from Shavasana straight into a bed and to sleep, but I'll leave you here. Enjoy this evening class. Relax. Enjoy Shavasana.